Well, we all know how opaque the India's trucking industry is, especially when you have to transport your stuff from one city to the another city, which takes a lot of time and eventually leads you to a lot of wastage of time, money, and resources. And to solve that and to break that opaqueness in the Indian freight transportation industry, I am joined by Imthiaz, who's the co-founder of Raaho. Raaho is basically, let's hear from him actually. Thank you, Imthiaz, for speaking to us. Tell us what's Raaho. I mean, what do you guys do? What are you planning to revolutionize in the country?
Thank you, Chetan, for inviting us. So Raaho, actually, the brand name comes from Raah, which means a path or a journey in Hindi, right? So as you introduced in this industry, so what you see is intercity trucking in India is a huge market. Just to give you a context, around 6% of India's GDP is trucking, and this whole industry is extremely offline. Okay, for example, let's say there is a large brand, let's say Unilever or Coca-Cola wants to move goods. It actually has a fixed rate contract tender with large transporters in this country, which are thousands, which is a fixed rate credit business. These transporters actually go to a broker. India is filled with anywhere between 100,000 to 200,000 brokers. These are offline brokers who rely on their notepads to connect a truck with a load. These people work with the truckers or the fleet owners. The fleet owners in India are all like a long tail, right? Most of them, let's say 85 to 90% of them own less than 10 trucks. So these people are dependent on a broker. What we do as Raaho is that we are trying to become a digital freight broker to make sure that a broker today is just as matching, but an offline matching, right? What we are doing is doing a digital matching. So look at Raaho as somebody who connects somebody who wants a load to somebody who wants a truck in a more digital way by using technology and data science, so that the matching is perfect, so that where the trucker is standing, we're able to give him a load where he is standing, from where he's standing to where he actually wants to go, rather than making him go here and there.
So basically, you're trying to say that if I have to transport my goods from supposedly anything from one city to the other city, from Delhi to Chennai, for example, I can come to your app or your website, I can book a truck, and I don't have to do anything except the formalities for filling documents, right?
Yeah. So if you want to move goods and you are a shipper for us, right? So you download a shipper app and you say, I want to move from, let's say, Delhi to Chennai. This automatically goes to a relevant truck owner whose truck is somewhere in Delhi and wants to go to Chennai. So from our system, we actually are able to match which truck should be attached for this particular load based on the origin destination, based on the type of goods, and most importantly, in this business, it's not. Today, what a broker does is that if the truck is standing in Manesar and the load is required from Noida, he will send the truck from Manesar to Noida. Whereas at the same time, there's another broker who's sending a truck from Noida to Manesar. This is, in our parlance, we call it a dead mile or a wasted travel, right? Our job is that you don't look at NCR as NCR. We look at Manesar, we look at Daruera, we look at Bilaspur, we look at Mahipalpur, we look at, let's say, Sonipet as different. Whereas, in a traditional offline method, he would look at, okay, Delhi se gaadi chahiye, he would move from a Manesar to Noida. So today we give it to the relevant truck owner, jiski gaadi wahan khadi hai, where the truck is standing. Now, how do we get where the truck is standing is through our driver app.
No, I'll come to that. Agreed. The dead mile, the dead part, the wastage of truck when it's empty, coming back empty is a big problem in India and globally especially. In US, I think is the leader, as you mentioned earlier. How do we solve this and how are you solving it? You are basically a platform on which I would come and connect with you and you would get to know in your database as to where an empty truck is, and you will tell me, okay, boss, this is your truck and you have to load this from here and you can directly go to the destination, right?
Yeah. So actually, the only way to solve this business is to make it, to use data science. This is not a business that can be solved by notepads and books or offline method. This needs massive technology to be able to aggregate supply. Fundamentally, you need to know at a very large level how many trucks are standing right now, for example, in Sonipet, wanting to go to Chennai. Now that inventory, as we call it, or a supply, comes through to us from the driver app. Today, most of our drivers are using our app and saying, hey, I want a load from here, which takes a live location. So thereby, we are getting a live inventory of where the truck is today and where it wants to go. So to me, this is a data science problem. That's why you see as a company, we've always remained we're a product company. So we've always remained asset light. We are a working capital efficient. So we don't give credit business. We don't own any asset. We don't own any warehouse. because this is a tech company, it's a tech product actually, right? And only way to solve it through data
You
science.
mentioned you don't own a single truck, yet you have a fleet of about 25,000 trucks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 25,000 trucks and growing who want a load as we speak today.
Right.
Right. I think, that there is no dearth of trucks or truck owners in this country. Right. There is a dearth of efficient matching for these trucks. For a trucker, it's about, hey, you know what, if you speak to a trucker, he says, I want a return load, right, fast, and I want to get paid on time. Today, both of these are broken thanks to the offline method. So today, a trucker loves this because he gets instant payment through the app. Every trucker, 100% of our truckers use the Raaho app and they take their own money instantly. They don't have to wait for one day to get an advance. Their balance payment, which in the old ways takes 60 days, 90 days with deductions, today he gives us a proof of delivery and the next day he just swipes to take the money. So we've made the whole process like a lot easier. I believe this is one of the most largest bastions where 15% of India depends on is still working in the offline way, and I really don't see any reason why they should work the way it is today.
Right.
Less than 1% of India's intercity trucking is digital, and we have just started.
Right. So now, coming on to the India's freight industry, freight transportation is very opaque. I mean, you don't know how, where, what. The common man, for transporting his or her goods, needs to go to the ground and really face a lot of issues by dealing with brokers, dealing with truckers, constant follow-ups, challan invoicing, and whatnot, the technical terms that you use. So how are you solving that now? Because you have become a platform. What's next is my question.
So see, very rightly said, today, people end up going, if a customer wants a truck, he goes to like transport nagas, looking for brokers, meeting brokers, haggling of that. All of that actually to some extent is already changing thanks to what's happened in the last 2 years, right? COVID has pushed this behavior.
How has COVID impacted the trucking industry?
For example, let me say this, right? Before COVID, there was a lot of cash in this industry. This is very cash driven, right? A driver would get cash from the broker. To fill fuel, he would actually pay cash, right? Most of the, let's say, petrol pumps or diesel pumps in this country were literally behaving like an ATM, right? That's why brokers existed, because let's say if a truck owner is in Delhi and his truck is in Chennai and he uses a broker to get a load, the broker in Chennai would give cash to the truck driver to fill the fuel on his way, right? Because in the last 2 years of so much of digitization and COVID of last year really pushed this behavior, that now it's all gone. People are using Paytms and Google Pays to actually make payment at the fuel junction. FASTag has happened. Most of the check posts have been removed. So actually, if you look at it, there is a little bit of a tailwind that is there for us, which is helping us, right? Earlier, we wouldn't have been able to do this 3 years back. We've been in this business for 4.5 years, right? And we were just waiting for the right time. But now the time has really come because it's gone cashless. Cashless is very fundamental. If there is cash exchange, then it's very difficult to build a digital business. A truck driver, 88% of truck drivers own a smartphone in this country. More than 70% of our trips happen where a truck driver is using his own app. Large part of our inventory is coming where a truck driver is saying, I am here and I want to go there. So today what we are solving is a problem of getting him a return load at his nearest place and making sure the payments happen on time. Over a period of time, once we start becoming a larger platform, of course, there is things like insurance, things like lending, things like fuel card. All of this will come so that we are able to solve the whole problem. Today we solve the how do I make more money problem for a trucker. Over a period of time, we'll try and look at solving how can I save cost for a trucker.
Right. So if I ask you how the government is into a lot of dedicated freight corridors in the making. India's highways network is expanding at a very rapid pace. Do you feel that the freight industry is bound to grow, and how much would you think is the limit to the growth of the freight industry in total?
See, one thing I believe that this is a business that is insulated from a lot of highs and lows, right? Because we all need products, we all need to buy things, we all need to eat stuff, and everything has to move by roads in India because roads are much better in this country. 65% of transportation happens through road, and thanks to these corridors are coming in, I do not see this changing much, right? So if you look at it, the transportation methods in India are truck, let's say road, and then railways. Air and water are still really far away and minuscule today. So this industry is bound to grow. I think this is a time for trucking tech in this country.
Right. So if I ask you about how the company has performed in the last 2 years, you mentioned about a 6 times growth. What's next in as an expansion plans? Are you looking for an IPO maybe after a second or third round of funding? How much have you raised? Give us those details.
So we've been in this business for some time, like for 4.5 years, and I'll tell you, last 10 months have been phenomenal for us. We've grown almost 5 to 6 times, as you rightly said. What I'm bullish about is, if you look at our data, that once a truck owner has started using Raaho, he is not going back to his old offline conventional network, because he also wants to improve his life, right? I always say that Raaho is about trucking for a better tomorrow. एक बेहतर कल के लिए, right? Better tomorrow for a trucker, for a shipper, and for the environment. You see, if you are able to give a load to where the truck is, and if you were to reduce this, wasted drives or dead miles, your carbon footprint will also come down. So I think we are very, very bullish about it. In terms of business, we've run this business very, very, I would say, with less money. We have raised till now only 17.5 crores Indian rupees INR, and we have deployed only 11 CR. So, and because of the asset light and capital efficient nature of our business, we really don't burn too much. We make sure that we make, we are a positive economics company. We make money out of every transaction today. Yes, IPO is a dream. We all would love to, take Raaho to the bosses. I look at 2025 is when we should look at an IPO.
Okay, well, in 2025, I'm standing with Imthiaz, and in the next 3 years, there could be an IPO where a freight transportation company could probably come, and let me tell you, this would really attract the stock markets, because this area, this field is definitely bound to grow. So definitely, in times to come, we'll see how Raaho performs, and the changes that they're making, revolutionizing the changes into the truck freight industry, would definitely be counted upon.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.